Okay, so for you guys that are building your rockets at home, I wanted to do a couple quick tips and tricks for you guys. So if you have all your pieces, you should have your body tube, which is this cardboard tube. You should have your shot cord, your nose cone, and the end cap that goes with it. So it's this little piece here. I don't know why my camera is so out of focus. I don't know. This right here is your launch lug. It's just a little tiny cardboard tube. Sorry about the dog. You should have some paper towel or toilet paper or something of that sort. If I didn't give you any, you can just use toilet paper or paper towels from your house. And then you should have a little piece of plastic streamer, caution tape. All right. The other thing you're going to need to make yourself are some fins. So here, these example ones I made are really small, kind of skinny looking ones. Yours, when you make them, you can design them however you want. You can have, big ones, small ones, curved ones, triangle shaped ones, rectangle ones, whatever. It doesn't matter. Just make sure that when you make them and cut them all out, then that they are all identical. All right. So you'll make a stencil by drawing your design on a piece of paper, trace it onto the balsa wood I gave you, and then from there you'll cut it out with a knife or a scissors or whatever. The wood's really thin and easy to work with, so you don't need much to cut it. And then once you've cut them all out, you can go through with your knife and shave them down so they're all identical. Or if you have sandpaper at your house, you can sand them down so that all of your fins, whether you make 3 of them or 4 of them, they all should be exactly the same. Alright, so your first step, your first step is going to be to attach those fins to your rocket. So when you do that, you'll use glue, or, glue is your only option really. And when you do that, you want to make sure that they're evenly spaced around the bottom of your rocket. So if you have 3 fins, you want to put them at not directly across from each other, right? You want them at 120 degrees going around. If you have 4 fins, then you'll do 2 directly across from each other and 2 90 degrees rotated from that. So whether you have 3 or 4, you want to make sure that they're all evenly spaced around the rocket. If they're not, it's going to cause your rocket to do a spinning barrel roll move as it goes up, and that spends a lot of energy doing that instead of flying straight, so it won't go as high. Alright, your next thing you're going to want to do is take your 2 pieces of your nose cone. So you've got the nose cone itself and then the end cap to it, and you want to put some glue around the bottom edge of this end cap here and stick that into your nose cone so it glues these 2 pieces together. Alright, the reason they come as separate pieces is because later in the year we'll be putting weights inside the nose cone to change the center of gravity of your rocket, but for this first one we're just going to leave it the way it is. So we're going to glue these 2 pieces together so they stick. Alright, once you're done with that, you take your shot cord and you tie it through this little loop thing on the end of your nose cone. So you'll tie your shot cord through here. And this knot doesn't have to be anything fancy. It can just be simple. Just like you're, tying your shoes or whatever. That's all it takes. The other end of your shot cord is what we're going to use to connect your body tube to your nose cone. So the reason you got the paper towels or the toilet paper or whatever you're using is because if we just glued this rubber band shot cord straight to the cardboard on the inside of the tube, it usually doesn't stick very well. So what you're going to want to do is take a little piece of paper towel, put some glue inside there, and it doesn't have to be much, just like a little tiny piece like this. Put some glue inside there, right in there along the rubber band, and then roll it up. And roll it up nice and tight. You don't want a lot of slack in there. And let it dry for a minute so that glue has a chance to stick this all together. And then you'll glue this paper towel to the inside of your tube, basically just as far down as you can stick your finger. Alright, and the glue on the paper towel to the cardboard is going to hold a lot better than trying to glue this rubber straight to the cardboard. Alright, so that's the point of that. The dog is freaking out. Alright, your last step, or no, sorry, second to last step. Once you've got your shock cord glued inside of your body tube, you're going to take your streamer, which is just this caution tape, and the point of this is to act as kind of a parachute. We don't use actual parachutes on these ones because they're so light and small that if the wind caught the actual parachute, it would just float away. Like, we'd never find it again. It'd land a mile away somewhere. So we use this streamer instead. It gives it a chance as it's falling to catch the wind and kind of wave in the wind and flutter, and that slows it down enough that we don't need a whole big parachute for it. So what you're going to do is about 2/3 of the way between the body of your rocket, where this other end of the thing is glued in, and the nose cone, you're going to tie your streamer onto the shock cord. And again, this knot doesn't have to be anything fancy. It just has to attach it. So you can do whatever you want to attach them together, tie them together, but it needs to be about 2/3 of the way up from the body tube, closer to your nose cone, ideally. Alright, and once you finish that, your actual last step is to take your launch lug and glue it somewhere along the body of your rocket. Two big important things with the launch lug are make sure that it is pointed straight, parallel with your rocket. You don't want this thing on there curved like that, or even just slightly curved. It needs to be as straight as you can get it. That way your rocket launches straight, right? If this is curved off to the side, your rocket's going off at an angle, or maybe not even getting off the launch rod because it's going to cause too much friction when the engine starts burning. All right. The other important thing with this, other than it being straight, is that you don't put it directly above a fin. If I have my fin, let me move this so y'all can see a little better. If I have my launch lug there and my fin directly below it, it's going to get in the way of that launch rod, because the launch rod that this launch lug guides over runs right along the body of the rocket. So if my fin is here, my launch lug needs to be off to the side. That way it's not getting in the way of any of the fins. So that's the two important things. Your launch lug needs to be straight, and it needs to be positioned so that it's in between two of your fins, not directly above one of them. Alright? So that's what y'all are looking for. If you have any questions, you need help with something, go ahead and email me, or come in after school on Tuesday or Wednesday, and we can help you get it put together. We are going to launch these Monday, second period, so Monday from 9:50 to, sorry, that's not right. No, yeah, 9:50 to 11:25 we'll be launching these, or Tuesday, first period of next week, so 8:20 to 9:50. So you guys can come in during either one of those classes, and we'll get you to launch them. We might also have a day over the weekend, next weekend, not Halloween weekend, but the one after, where you guys can come up and launch your rockets, but we haven't decided on that yet. So I'll let you know more about that when we get the chance. All right, good luck putting them together.